everybody, welcome back to my channel Made with Love, and tonight I'm going to be making a chili and garlic toast for supper. So I've got another one of these great big 5-pound packs of hamburger. So it was like over $27, but I got 30% off, which is always really good if you can find meat on sale right now. I'm just going to turn my pot on, or my skillet on. You can see what I'm doing. Just get my skillet turned I've turned it on to brown so I can get the meat cooked. I'm just gonna put this into the pan and start cooking the hamburger. So I will be back when the hamburger is cooked. I'm not quite sure how long it's gonna take, but I'll be back when the hamburger is cooked. Okay, the hamburger is cooked. I'll be draining it in a second, but I'm actually making two different dishes for supper tonight. One is I'm making chili, but it's going to take a little while longer. So I'm going to just, with the rest of the hamburger, I'm going to make this Hamburger Helper. Got the cheeseburger. I don't know where the camera is. Right here. I'm going to make the cheeseburger Hamburger Helper with some of this hamburger as well. So I'm going to just set the hamburger, the camera need for the chili. I'm going to scoop into my pot here. I've got this nice big Stockpot. And I'm just going to scoop most of the hamburger in here. Should I had this? Got mostly drained. I still have a little bit of fat that I still have to do a final drain. I just want to get most of this hamburger out because it's hard to drain when there's a lot of hamburger in the pot. I thought I drained it a lot better than this. Okay, I'm just going to set aside how much I need for the Hamburger Helper. I think that would be good for the Hamburger Helper, so I'll scoop the rest of this in here. Good amount of hamburger, and I've got a good amount of hamburger still in here for the Hamburger Helper. Just going to take one more scoop. I'm just going to set this hamburger aside. Put it on first. My puppy is sitting right there licking her lips while I was looking it up. Camera over here. I'm just going to show you what I do when I make my chili. I use lots of cans of beans. So tonight's chili, I've got 2 cans of the dark red kidney beans, 1 can of white kidney beans, a can of black-eyed peas, a can of the navy beans, a can of chickpeas. I'm trying to make sure I get the English side facing the camera. Then a can of the pinto beans and a can of fava beans. I like to really mix up the amount of beans that I put in now because I like to drain my beans for this. So I'm just going to open it. And all I do to drain my can of beans, get rid of this or else I will cut myself with this lid. So I just take a bowl and a little strainer and I just pour it out into the bowl, just strain it. Then I'm going to use the bean juice that I'm saving to make my puppy some food later this week. Then I got it mostly drained. Then I'm just going to pour it into the pot of hamburger. I'm going to do this for all 8 cans. I've got 8 cans. Yeah, 8 cans here. So I will be back when I get all cans drained and poured in the hamburger. Let's see, that's just, I find this just works the easiest way to drain the beans. And then you get to now use the liquid from the beans for something else. So I'll be back when I get all this done and I'm ready for the next step. Alright, so in my stock pot I've got all 8 cans of beans and the hamburger. The liquor is way down at the bottom. I gotta start to stir it up, but now I need to add some liquid. So now what I'm going to be using for liquid is, oh, there goes my camera. Okay, what I'm using for my liquid is the Mott's Garden Cocktail Original. So I'm going to pour some of this in, if I can get it open. Okay, well, I got it open and the lid's now across the room somewhere. That's okay, I'll get that in a few moments. I'm going to get this centered on. I'm just going to pour some in. I'm not quite sure how much I've poured in. Like about that much of the bottle. Probably somewhere between half a cup to a cup. Just to get some liquid in there and some more tomato flavoring. That's what I forgot to grab. There's the cans of tomatoes too. Like, I really like a really thick chili. Got my stove on too high. I just gotta grab my cans of tomatoes because that's what I forgot to open. Right, I like these ones here. They are the diced tomatoes with the herbs and spices. So you already get flavor before you do anything, before you add anything. So if you don't have any spices, then at least your tomatoes have spices. Like, it's not an overpowering spice flavor, but it gives a nice little like Italian flavoring. I know this is chili, so I don't really want the Italian flavoring, but I do like the contrast of it sometimes. And my chilies, just gotta get this all stirred. I'm just trying to get the tomato down to the bottom and the hamburger up to the top. And then I will be letting this start to warm up. And then I add my spices. I mean, I know some people add their spices now, but because I grind my spices before I add them, I find it's just a little too soon to add them. Like, if I were just going to take them from the container and just shake them straight in, this would be when I would add them. Well, in a few minutes. I like to wait till the liquid has started to heat up before I add my spices anyways, just so the spices can kind of, you know, I don't know, just the thing about when you heat up the spices, sometimes they lose the flavor, sometimes they get more flavor. Like I said, because I grind all mine up to a fine powder, mine won't take as long to release the flavor, so I don't have to add it quite. If I were to add it too soon, you would lose a lot of the flavoring. So now I'm just gonna put the lid on this and let this start to cook for probably about 10 minutes. Just gotta turn my stove back, burner back on. I went to turn it down and I hit off. Oops. I've got it sitting on medium heat for a few minutes, and this has the steam valve. So I've got the steam valve open for right now, just because I I don't trust this pot on this cook stove. This is the pot that wrecked my stove. So I just kind of careful with it, but it's the only stock pot I have, so I can't get rid of it till I get a new one. So I'm just going to show you my other thing, because I said I'm also making, with the big 5-pound thing of hamburger, I'm able to make a big pot of chili, and I'm making the Hamburger Helper. I've got 2 boxes of this, so I'm making 2 meals, because this takes quite a while to really cook and for the flavor to get in, but my kids are hungry and I got lots of hamburger I got to use up. So I'm going to cook 2 boxes of these, and I will show you a quick trick that I do. But I also want to show this. What we do is I have this, it's a metal cup, and I keep it here sitting by my sink, and this is where we put all the liquid or the drippings, like fat, grease drippings, go in here. And then when it solidifies, we put it out in the fire pit, and it really is like a fire starter. It really helps. Or we can just dump it straight into the compost once it's in one solid chunk, and then we throw it in the compost bin, and we don't have to worry about liquid grease, you know, coating the inside of the bins. But I find it works best in a metal container because you can just scoop it out. So that's one thing I'd like to do. So I'll just show you this other thing. So I'm just going to turn the camera around just for a second, because the lasagna is cooking, or not lasagna, the Hamburger Helper is on the other side of the island. Okay, so I'm cooking 2 boxes of the Hamburger Helper, and it says you need 2 cups of milk and 1 cup of hot water. So in here I've already got my 2 cups of hot water, and I'm going to add my cheese mix now. I always find it easier to add the cheese mix to some of the liquid. It just kind of makes it a little bit easier to stir in. The water. Just gotta stir. So this is the 2 cups of the hot water and the 2 packs of the cheese sauce. Now I'm gonna add, oh, this is new. I'm going to add 2 more cups of the milk to this. Get this up to the 4 cups. And stir this, and it just really helps to get the cheese mixed in, and it makes this a more smoother sauce. Put this over. This in. And then I still need 2 more cups of milk. Quick stir, but then I do find that just makes it so much easier to mix in, so that you're not trying to get the powder mixed in with all the hamburger and the pasta. You kind of mix the cheese mix or any seasoning mixes, anything, that mix it with your water and milk before you pour it in. Now this is ready. Put the lid on. It's going to let this simmer. I think it's 20 minutes. Double check that. It's been a while since I made Hamburger Helper too. Now I've got to heat back to boiling. Okay. and then simmer for 10 minutes. Yeah, I gotta turn this back up. So I'll be back when I'm ready to do the next part on the chili. Okay, now I'm going to get ready to make the spice mix. So I've got some celery salt, garlic powder, paprika, chili powder, of course, cilantro, oregano, thyme, and crushed chilies. Now some of these you don't need a lot, but I like to add a little bit of other, get this open, I like to add some of these other flavorings in here, just a little sprinkle of these in, just helps bring the other flavors out. I'm going to save those ones for the last. I want to get these first couple here. Where's the garlic? Oh, okay, I guess I'm out of garlic salt now. Probably have more in the pantry, so I gotta top up some of my jars. There's the celery salt. And a little bit of the paprika. Mostly just for the coloring. I'm gonna grind these up and get a nice color, nice flavor of the spices. And now I'm gonna add the chili powder. If I can get this open. I'm gonna put quite a bit. I'm not measuring these because I kind of like eyeball it. I know how far in my thing it goes. Now these are very powerful, especially when you crush them. So just remember that. The crushed chilies get more powerful when you crush them or grind them more. Alright, it's starting to smell. My spice blend now smells like chilies. It smells good. It's all nicely mixed. So now I'm going to add it to my chili. I'm going to sprinkle it in on top. And grab my spoon and just kind of mix it in a bit. And I might, depending on how this spiced up and what flavors you can taste, sometimes near the end I'll also add a little more spice. So that is my chili. Now you can add almost anything. Like I don't have any peppers today because I love to add red or green peppers to this. Whole tomatoes, if I had them. I just used the canned tomatoes tonight. I've added peas, corn. I think my husband likes it when I add corn. I think I will add some corn to this. I just need to get this to warm up because it's still cold. I mean, it's just starting to boil now, but when I just tested just a few minutes ago, it was still kind of cold in places. You know, the tomatoes and the beans will take some time to get heated. So I'm just going to let that now simmer for a little bit longer. And I'll check back in about 10 minutes. Alright, I am adding corn. This is from the freezer. I'm just going to toss this in here. I don't know how much corn. I'm just going to chop it up, but the bag is split funny. So I just got corn over my stove. I'll clean that up in a second, but let's see. There, and I add the corn. I'll stir that in. Now that's starting to look more like chili now. So things I said, you can add peas, peppers, just about anything. You can do meatless, because I've done a lot of meatless chilies. There, so I'll be back in about 10 minutes and see how it looks and tastes. Alright, I'm also going to make a garlic toast. So I got one of these long breads. I usually get the French loaf, but they were out, so I got the Italian loaf. It's the same thing, I've just cut it in half. So it's the same size, it's not the crunchy hard outside. I think it'd be pretty good to be able to dip into the chili. Got some butter here, margarine, yes. I'm just going to put a generous amount on. So I like when the butter just melts right into the bread. It just makes it really soft. I like to get it right to the edge so it kind of toasts up the edges too. And I'll put this, when everything is ready to eat, then I'll put this in the broiler for just about 5 to 8 minutes. Usually seems to be what it works best for cooking this size of a loaf. And so I've got my garlics, my minced garlic that I buy. So I'll just be putting minced garlic on top. And I'm almost out of margarine. Just hope I've got enough in here to finish this up. And I've got my chopped or minced garlic. I buy in these big containers. And then I will use, because it's got liquid in it, I'm going to use a slotted spoon just so I can get some of the liquid off before it goes on the bread. Because I've done that before where I've just poured it on and then I get that liquid and then the bread becomes kind of soggy. And it takes a little longer to cook. I'm just going to spread this out right across the whole top, and that will be our garlic bread. And the chili is done. I know the chili is done and ready to be taken off the heat and just needs to simmer or off the heat for about 10 minutes, and it'll be good to eat. So like I said, as soon as I get the chili taken off the heat and I can get this in the broiler. And then I've also got the Hamburger Helper. I keep on saying lasagna, but no, it's the Hamburger Helper. And to the Hamburger Helper, I also added a full can of the herb and spice diced tomatoes, but I did drain off the liquid. And so I put the liquid into the chili, just so the chili would have a little more liquid, just so the Hamburger Helper doesn't get the excess liquid. But this is our supper tonight. It's almost done. So this is done and ready to go in the broiler. And I said my chili is done. I'll show you. So the chili is done. It's steaming. It looks good. Grab another spoon. Just stir it. It is ready to eat. It's spiced. I added some more shakes of the garlic powder to it, just because I really like the chili powder to it, just because I really like, it's chili. I really want the chili flavor to come out. So that is the chili, and then over here is the Hamburger Helper with the can of tomatoes, so it is ready as well. So that is our supper for tonight. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been watching, liking, and commenting on my videos, and of course subscribing to my channels. And I will just see everybody in my next videos. Bye.